All right. This is our third podcast since we've been back. Kind of crazy to think that. Like, I thought we'd have stopped already. Just kidding. But
it's a streak. You gotta keep it up.
we got this streak. It's really easy to do when we're around E3, which is what we're going to be. Last podcast we made predictions. In this podcast we're going to talk about E3 and just gaming in general. And then, of course, I just want to give a plug to our Mario Marathon, which is less than a month away, July 17th to 24th for St. Jude.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
When's the last time we actually did 3 podcasts in the same year?
2009 or 10?
2008.
I think it was 2010.
Yeah.
Jesus.
We're on a roll, though. Speaking of a roll, we've got Baltes, JD, and Rob.
Yeah, we're rolling. What?
That's old school. 2001.
I don't even know when that was.
So I guess, we're going to give our opinions on E3 conferences, favorites, and stuff. And so, what was overall thought? What did y'all think of E3 this year compared to some of years past? Who wants to kick it off?
Meh.
Meh.
No, I'm lying. It was not meh. It was a good solid E3.
I think it's the best one's been for a few years.
Yeah, this is the best one I can remember, for a while, since maybe, PS3 and Xbox 360 were in their heyday.
I think I also think it's the best of this generation so far. It's hard to beat those E3s whenever you know the new generation's coming out, and it's just when they had PS4 and Xbox One and then the Wii U one. Those are good because they're building new hardware.
Yeah, those are good because you get to see the new console for the first time, but you don't really get to learn a whole lot about it. They just show it off.
Yeah, usually
I feel like we learned a lot this E3.
Yeah, for me, well, I guess this is kind of skipping ahead, but should we go into what conference we enjoyed the most?
Yeah,
don't make me edit this thing.
We don't need to. My favorite of all of them, I thought they all held their own. I'm excluding the whatever
PC
the
show.
Not the it was okay, but what would you call those? The third party? The developer.
The developer conferences.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, excluding those, but of the main 3, I enjoyed all of them. I enjoyed the most. I think I really liked Sony's the best.
Yeah,
I thought it was
Sony
the
came
best.
to play.
Woo! They had the most wow moments.
Yeah. Maybe
and
that's
the absolute biggest wow moment was Sony's.
The Final Fantasy VII, or actually,
What could it be? It'd be Final Fantasy VII, Shenmue, or Let's Go.
Watch
I
Party.
went back and listened, and the crowd lost their stuff more at Final Fantasy VII than
more than Shenmue?
they did at Shenmue. Yeah. I mean, they were pretty excited for Shenmue and The Last Guardian, but Final Fantasy VII, just that crowd was roaring.
Since y'all brought up Shenmue, I know that we've talked about this a lot, kind of amongst ourselves in our mumble. How do you guys feel? I know that's a hot topic on the internet, of how they are doing Shenmue with the Kickstarter and kind of how that was unveiled. In case y'all didn't know, so essentially they did a brief trailer that showed the developer. I kind of butcher his name, but the dev just basically said that they're going to be making Shenmue 3, and then they did a countdown to the Kickstarter, and this was at Sony's conference. And the controversial thing about it is some people were getting the impression that everybody, the consumers, were the ones that were going to be funding the game, that it was going to be only funded by them. But then again, the goal was, I think, 2 million, with the stretch goals going up to 4 million.
Yeah.
And for those of you who don't know, the first Shenmue costs around 45 million is what I'm reading. And so a lot of people are like, how is that possible? Well, we're learning now that Sony's going to be helping contribute that, and possibly other outside investors. So, yeah, what are y'all guys' thoughts?
I'm 100% okay with it. That was Cleo making noise. What are you doing, Cleo? But I think with a game like this size, like if so many people are asking for it, you kind of like it's a good way to engage with the community to see like how much they want this game. Plus, I think it makes them feel more involved in like the process. It's like free advertising in a way.
I don't feel that E3 is the place for a Kickstarter advertisement. I'm excited for the game. I do not. I know E3 is a marketing event, essentially. But
yeah, I mean, that's basically what it was, though.
I don't think that. I don't know. It just feels very out of place. It's.
I mean, everybody's there to sell their game. So,
yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
It is weird, in a way, but
I don't think E3 is the place for them to ask me for money up front for a game that's not released yet.
That's not even for sure coming.
What if they were going to do, instead of Final Fantasy VII, like what if they were going to kickstart Final Fantasy VII? Would that be something that you were interested in?
No. Because
damn it. Well, you screwed up my analogy. I hate you.
Because the interest is, to me, for a game like Shenmue 3, for a game like Final Fantasy VII, the fan interest is very obviously there. And if the developer doesn't have faith in the product already, then...
But is it with a game like Shenmue?
Yeah.
Like, I know...
Shenmue, among the people I know, yes. But... I don't know. The greater world at large, I can't say.
I don't blame them for wanting to gauge interest on Shenmue, just because that was the problem with the series in the first place, is that it just had kind of a... I mean, it didn't sell
low interest at the time.
Yeah. It just didn't... It never made its money back, so I could see Sony...
Nowadays, with games having to make so much money to be able to like be profitable or anything like that, I don't know if that's the case with Shenmue because I don't know the size of the team, but I think we're going to see a crapload more stuff like this. Like you kind of got to get the game out there before like you even start working on it. It seems like.
And what I'm okay with, at least with Kickstarter, it's essentially not essentially because you can pay for more and you get extra things, so you're not just paying for the game, but if you wanted to, even though you don't have, I mean, you're not, all you're getting is a pitch from the developers, but at least you're getting the game for it. It's not like you're just throwing money out to make the game happen. You're also getting the finished product. But
if the project is successful, which this has a big publisher like Sony backing it, but there is no guarantee even if it gets funded. With that,
does the money go back to the?
Yeah, I thought that's how that worked.
No. Even if it gets funded, there's no guarantee that the project will be successful.
So what happens if the Kickstarter?
You could lose your money.
Yeah, that's why I didn't like it being in E3.
I think this is a different case than that, though.
Yeah, probably because of Sony's backing. Yeah. Sony is pledging the extra money. I'm not saying we'll run into that issue here, but it is an issue with any kickstarted game.
Wait, so what happens in those situations? So couldn't just the company just make a really awesome pitch and
people sue?
Okay.
It's happened before.
It has happened before.
But there are like repercussions. Like you can't just
you just can't do it. Oh, thing failed. Y'all don't get your money. You don't get your money back.
Yeah. Well, it could be like, it failed, and we spent all the money, so we're sorry.
Like I did say that, but I saw something about there's like some Kickstarter campaign now to bring or to like get awareness out there that people want Half-Life 3, which is the most ridiculous thing of all time.
It's a Kickstarter Kickstarter to raise awareness for Half-Life 3.
Yeah, it's like we want Half-Life 3 is the name of the freaking is the name of the Kickstarter.
Half-Life 3 awareness.
Oh my god, get away from me with that.
I think, I mean, I would be pissed if it were a game like, Half-Life 3 or something, but it's not. It's like Shenmue. If this were Nintendo doing it, it would be like Mother, or something like that.
I'm telling you, I would pay lots of money in a Kickstarter if they were to bring like Silent Hills back or something.
Yeah, if it's for a project which has something around it that's got doubt behind it, I mean, I think it's a legitimate method to gauge interest. I know people think that's like a crock or it's just like a front that they're lying, but I don't think so. It could be. I mean, in the future, I think it could be. That could be something people. But for Shenmue, I legitimately believe that they were saying if you want the game made, you're going to have to prove to us that there is a want out there, just like Bloodstained did. And I don't know. I think that's legitimate. And I'm not saying in the future though. I can see how it's going to be tough to draw that line. And Kickstarter now has blurred that line, so I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see over the next few years.
It was just really weird, and it seemed so out of place, but I guess those are just the times.
Yeah, I think they are.
Yeah, and I definitely understand that it seems, because it is like you're on one of the big three. It's about the big three, Nintendo, Microsoft, Sony. You're on the stage. You're thinking it's an announcement that Sony's gonna, which they are, but it's not just that. It's we want you to.
But you have to give us the money, or it's never gonna happen.
Yeah, which to be fair, $2 million. I mean, I know that seems like a lot. Which $2 million is a lot of money, but
it's not really.
Yeah, not in the Kickstarter world, which is crazy to say. With a big title like this, like if it was just some out of nowhere game asking for $2 million, then that would be difficult.
Yeah, maybe it was the perfect place to unveil the Kickstarter. Honestly, I mean,
I think it was.
It seems like both the wrong place and the absolute right place, and I guess it just seemed like the wrong place because it's never been done before. You're always showing us games that have backing, have developers. You're not asking us to pay for a game just so that it will get made so we can buy it again.
Yeah, like it or not, I think it was a genius marketing move. Something that I would study in PR campaigns if I was still in college.
Yeah, it does. It seems like a good case study, especially once it's all said and done.
Exactly.
Do y'all think this will be a trend? Like, do you think next E3 we're gonna?
I don't know.
I hope not.
I don't know if it'll happen at E3, but possibly at Gamescom or something.
I think it'll happen again next year. I'm just gonna make that prediction now, and I also could see it happening at the Game Awards show that Jeff Keighley does now. I could see it happening.
I could see that happening, but I think if it happens too often, people are going to be like, okay, another one of these.
Yeah, exactly.
Since we're on the topic of Sony, it's funny because we brought up a lot of different things during our prediction podcast, and we would bring them up. But we even though we weren't sure about Last Guardian, we brought it up.
They're not going to mention Last Guardian. Yeah. That game is
Did any of us say that they were? I don't know.
I think we joked about it. They'll never mention this.
I'll have to re-listen. I think I said there was a chance.
Listeners, call us out on it if we got it right or if we got it dead wrong. It's just there's no way they're going to talk about that game.
They opened up the conference with it, which is the really cool part.
We're going to take predictions about if they talk about Last Guardian next year?
Oh, they definitely will, right? But
did they say that they're planning on releasing next year?
I think they said 2016.
2016, yeah.
Yeah, right. I'll believe it when it's in my PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
That looked cool, though. I liked the demo that they showed. The kid yelling kind of got annoying after a little while. But
I'm not going to be able to play the game. My dog pushed my TV over. Eddie was going absolutely crazy at that demo.
You don't think maybe he would get used to it afterward?
He still barks at Eddie barks at every animal and non-white person on the television.
Oh, dang.
I don't know why, but he hates animals and people.
Oh, Eddie.
And then when he barks, Cadence thinks, "Oh gosh, I have to help defend
it's like
my
a chain
family."
reaction. Apparently there was a part, like, before, like, what we saw in the gameplay, like, little puzzle part or whatever, where you, like, first meet the, I don't know what they're calling, the last guardian or whatever the creature was.
That weird griffin dog thing.
Yeah, the griffin puppy.
It was so weird looking.
There were parts in that, like, gameplay, it was like, is he about to try to kill that dog? Like, when he was, like, running on the log or whatever.
Oh, yeah,
like,
with the log was in front of him. And
Yeah.
I kept thinking that the log was going to fall down and sweep the thing off.
It's like, what's he doing? Hope he can fly with those tiny wings. That does look neat, though. I'm gonna get that game for sure.
Oh,
if
gosh,
and when
yes.
it comes out.
What was the Sony game, the open world, was it Horizon or whatever, where she's like hunting these hybrid
robot
robots?
dinosaurs?
That game looks cool. Like, a lot of people say it looks too generic, but I'm gonna play the crap out of that game.
Because we've got a lot of games about robot dinosaurs?
I don't know.
I thought that was my favorite, like, new IP that was shown out of all the
conferences.
I liked
that one a lot, and I like the one. Or we didn't really get to see gameplay of the Microsoft one or whatever. Crap, I forgot the name of it. Recore. Yeah, that looked cool. But yeah, this Horizon game looks really, really good, and I think the story in it's going to be pretty awesome too. But
who's the dev? Who's the dev on that?
Ooh, it's somebody we know.
Yeah, on Horizon. As everyone rushes to Google.
Yeah.
Gorilla.
Oh,
Gorilla.
awesome.
What have they made?
Killzone.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
So I didn't play the first 3 Killzones, but I did play the PS4 and Vita Killzone. So
I played the one on PS3, the launch game or whatever, and it was really good.
All I know of Gorilla are 2 mediocre, very, very mediocre, lackluster games. Killzone on PS4 was a very pretty game, but everything about the actual gameplay and story was really generic. That was generic. The Vita game was even worse, and the controls were...
Well, the thing with Killzone is I think they kind of like started what we call generic now. Like Killzone 3, I think it was Killzone 3, the first one for the PS4, was like a super awesome FPS, and they were doing a lot of things that like hadn't been done before because the tech wasn't there. So I think maybe they're just trying to, like, I don't know, do better what they've already done.
JD's last name in my phone contacts, I have him in here as his last name Helgast.
Yes.
I wasn't gonna bother trying to spell it, so I was just like, Helgast, that works.
JD Helgast, I like it.
I just like it's got kind of so I don't know. I know that you're hunting these robot monster things, but I wonder if it's kind of got like because it looks like it's like an open world, and that's what I've been reading about that it's going to be in 2. Is it going to have like a Monster Hunter type feel where you're taking some of these or materials off of this and then using it to, you know, craft your armor or make armor or make anything?
That could be cool.
At first I thought it was because at first they're showing like what looked to be native tribes or something, and I'm like, is this some kind of Native American survival game or something? And then all of a sudden it's robot dinosaurs and stuff, and I'm like, what the heck? And the main character is wearing some kind of armor and has this cool looking bow, and
yeah, I can't wait to find out more about the story.
The story, yeah, it was very intriguing, the stuff they were talking about.
It's got kind of a tech versus environment type vibe story.
Yeah, I don't know if like
Avatar,
they turned on humanity or something like that. That could be cool.
It's like they made Robot Jurassic Park.
Yes.
Is there any other
No other big
things?
moments. No, none at all. Not during Sony. None that I can think of.
7 maybe?
Just the thing that made me weep.
Yes.
Also talk about with the Final Fantasy, did you read that they're actually, and I'm totally cool with this, but they're, everything's on the table as far as like, they're saying there's not going to be added characters, but
good.
Combat is going to possibly change. I think they said guaranteed that they will be changing. I'm cool with that type of stuff. We've had enough ports of Final Fantasy VII. I want to. I mean, the story I want to stay the same for the most part. They can kind of flesh out everything, take stuff from maybe the movies and Crisis Core, because we've got more lore concerning all these characters now. And
I think they confirmed that they will be adding things from that expanded universe to try to make it make more sense and tie in better.
Yeah, because they can still keep the main story whilst expanding on all these things that have come out since.
Ares still will die, the guy I work with. Man, I hope we can save Ares
Spoilers
this time. And I'm like, no, that is very crucial to Cloud's development.
That's a main part of the game as well, too. So if they cut that would be ridiculous.
What if you had the choice?
Yeah, that could be cool.
A choice could be interesting, but I hope not.
What's going to be crazy is this is going to be some kids first time playing Final Fantasy VII.
Exactly.
And they're going to hate it. They're going to think it's the dumbest Final Fantasy game ever.
I think if they redo the combat and everything, it'll be a good Final Fantasy game.
I'm with Rob on we've had enough re-releases. They just re-released
but I agree as well.
Yeah, they just re-released the PC version. They're bringing that to PS4, and are they bringing that to PC or to PS3, or just PS4? They're bringing it out on iOS for crying out loud.
The
HD
remastered thing.
So there's definitely, if people want turn-based combat, if people want the same systems, if people want the same game, they have the ability. They have the ability to go back and do that. It's available on PSN, so you can get it on your PS3 or your Vita or your PSP. It's coming to PS4. It's coming to iOS, maybe Android. There's definitely lots of ways to play it. So this being a remake, and I love that they highlighted the word remake after the trailer. And they specifically said in interviews afterwards, it's a remake. We are not just you can't just up-res the graphics and call it a remake.
Yeah.
I hope, listen, when I played Final Fantasy 15's demo, my first thought was, I know I've told all of these guys this in Mumble, but my thought was, anytime I imagine a Final Fantasy VII remake, what I was imagining was what I'm playing in Final Fantasy 15. Just the scope of the world, the size of the summons.
Nice.
I'd probably be okay with the battle system being like that.
Yeah, I hope they do change the battle system, because they've come so far, in the series, evolving the battle system. It would be kind of dumb just to, go back to what they did in Final Fantasy VII.
As they've evolved the battle system, fans have kind of revolted against it. This is terrible. Every game is worse than the last game now.
They say that, but, would they really want to go back and, play those other battle systems? I don't know.
Final Fantasy 13, everyone says Final Fantasy 13 is so terrible because it's a giant tunnel.
That battle system.
Final Fantasy 10 was also a giant tunnel. I think you could go backwards in the tunnel in 10 better than you could in 13, but it was still a very linear tunnel. But the game doesn't get any slack for that. 12 has one of the, 10-2 has one of the best battle systems of the series, and that game is just universally panned.
Which one? 12?
10-2.
Oh,
12. Because I recently played. Well, last year I went through 12 on. I streamed it, and I loved that game. I didn't beat it the first time I played it, so it was really my first time playing it and beating it, and it was fantastic. I loved the battle system. To me, I would be okay if the new games, 15 and the new 7, take elements from 13 and 12's battle system, in that you mainly control the main character, and then you can decide how the AI works on the other characters. I'm okay with that.
All right, I guess, is there anything else we want to comment on Final Fantasy VII before I move on to another Sony topic?
Go on ahead.
One thing I was wanting to get answered, and I think they did a pretty good job of answering it, was knowing what No Man's Sky was all about. Like, we had the general concept of it. It's a very explorative exploration. We just knew it was an exploration game that has a lot of potential because of how big they showed a demo, and they kept zooming out, showing all these bright spots, and they were saying like each bright spot represents a sun, and there's a
planet.
There's planets that surround the sun, and they just kept zooming out. So, anyways, it was endless.
Yeah, the scope of that game is ridiculous.
It's funny because I showed my brother that, because I was like, this concept is awesome, which he agreed was awesome, but I was like, how do they do this? And he was able to look at it and kind of like break down like quickly, like, oh, this is what they have to be doing. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. He was saying that the way they've got to be doing it is that each point that you go to probably doesn't exist, but before you go to it, you're just clicking, and then it's like acts as if like a seed, like Minecraft does, and so then populates that as you go into it. So that world probably didn't even exist before you even did.
That's like some Matrix level stuff right there.
Well,
so it's each sector has a static seed assigned to it.
But you can visit planets that people have already been to, so I guess it just populates when they go to it, and is already there, like, when you get there?
This is all speculation. But, he thinks it's like, so you see the star, you click on it. It didn't exist until you clicked on it, but once you do click on it, then it's permanently there. So, I mean, they said,
does that mean it's, like, always programming?
Well, the way it works, or the way they were saying, like, so when you go to a world, like, say you chop down a tree or something like that, the person doesn't actually, there's only certain things that basically sounded like data type things, like naming of the world, different, like, choices that you made, those, which is going to be all, like, text stuff. It's like, you go to a world and it's like, you're going to see the name, oh, this person named it Bobo Land, and this person named this fish just whatever. But the stuff, like, the effects you change the world, other players won't actually get to see that, but they will see the same world. So it's kind of like, every time you start up a new Minecraft game, it's just a seed, and there's like millions of seeds. So it'll basically have that seed number, and this is once again just what we're thinking. It'll have that seed number, have that unique look, and then all the changes that you're making in terms of like naming stuff is what the players are gonna get. That's what kind of
crazy that this is like a 6-man team as well.
Yeah, that's what blows my mind. But I mean, I really like what I'm hearing. I do want to see more of what you're going to be doing, because it said basically there's like a Pokedex type thing where you're going and because there's going to be new like animals and creatures, and you're going to name them. That's what I think is going to be cool, because you'll probably rarely run into a planet someone else has discovered. But the feeling that you get that, like, oh man, someone else has been here too, that's going to be
said
cool.
His goal in life was to find that E3 planet.
I bet you that's going to... I wonder if that's going to be nearly impossible, but that would be so awesome.
Yeah.
What platform are we all buying this game on? PS4 or PC?
I'm getting it on PS4.
After what happened with Batman?
we'll get to that later. Yeah.
So it seems like a couch game. This is a game I'm going to sink hours into playing on the couch.
what else do you guys want to see like in the game? We know that exploration. I mean, they were kind of vague about there's going to be
I want
battles and stuff.
some kind of story. Like, I don't care if it's like a big narrative or something. Even if I'm just like picking up journals or something like that.
I think
like,
it's going to be kind
cool
of like what Journey did or what Dark Souls kind of does, is where the story is there, but you have to kind of make it up in between.
I'm cool with that.
Souls
Like, if
had
the
a
universe is the story.
Has an amazing story.
Yeah.
Next,
Like in
tell
those
me
games,
Bloodborne had a story.
The atmosphere is kind of like the story, I feel.
Bloodborne, an amazing story.
Yeah, it did.
I love Bloodborne's story, but I don't think that's gonna happen in this game. I just have that feeling it's not. I think it might have like a general story of. No, I don't know. That maybe
Earth is gone. You're exploring the galaxy. Boom. That's the story.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know how it can have like a really like. When I say story, I just want something to like. Something I can read about, like, I don't know, maybe another explorer or whatever. Like, I think there's going to be like tons of little stories, which will be cool. Like, that's kind of. I think
it's going to have like Journey. Like I said, it's going to have that narrative of going to the center of the universe. You don't have to do it, but it's going to be there for if you want to.
Didn't we say something like that? Like, that's where you're trying to get to, is the center of the universe.
Yeah, like it's not something that you have to actually do in the game. You can spend all your time exploring if you want, but there's that one goal kind of that you're shooting for, which is the center of the universe.
I apparently have no idea what Journey's about.
They did say that there's going to be kind of these sentient, like these protectors of the planets. Yeah. So they do have, I guess, yeah, if you think of it that way, there is like a kind of a story there, which, yeah, like, that sounds cool to me. It would be cool. I mean, you couldn't pull this off just because of how everybody is and how the internet is and how the world is. But wouldn't it be cool if, like Rob kind of said, if you would have people's, like, if you could leave, like, journals of your journey and stuff like that? If you couldn't really do that now because people would just be like, well, I pooped here, haha. You know, it wouldn't really work.
I think it'd be really cool if
they took
that type of concept and did it to, like, if there's a permanent death in the game, then every time that you die, your journal, which is whatever you discovered, wherever you went, is in the journal. It's not stuff that you write, but it's stuff that you visited.
But then, and it's on this planet that maybe no one will ever go to, but if someone does go there and picks that up, it's just so rewarding, it feels like.
Yeah. Like, say, one of the most explored explorers, he dies, and then some person finds that, and it's just this huge encyclopedia of stuff.
Oh man, I wonder if they will have like leaderboards or something too, like who discovered the most fish, like in this universe or something like that. That could be neat.
That would be really cool.
I'm so looking forward to that game though.
Me too, and he said that they would get us an announced date soon, which whatever that means. He could be on Valve time. We don't know, but
well, the original release date was 2015, slated for 2015. So I'm hoping it's still for 2015. And there's no thing that states otherwise.
Yeah, probably going to be like a holiday thing.
That's
guessing.
What I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's No Man's Sky. Any other Sony things that just popped out or y'all want to talk about before we move on to something else?
Nothing else I can really think of that was at the conference. I mean, I'm super excited for Metal Gear Solid 5, but that's like a couple months away, so.
Dark Souls 3.
Yes.
That was at the Xbox conference, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I was surprised.
I think a good segue into the Xbox conference would be, well, not only that, but what surprised me, and I bet surprised Sony, was the backwards compatibility that Xbox announced, which I think is that was awesome. I mean, Sony now, because what is Sony's thing that they're doing, the whole subscription-based Sony
PlayStation now?
Yeah.
It has not been performing well.
The prices are way too
ridiculous. High. Yeah.
Yoshida himself said that I think Sony was definitely surprised. Yoshida called. He said it was interesting news and said the technology involved must be very challenging. And
what they talked about a little bit of the tech that or how they're doing it exactly, like podcast I was listening to. It's pretty interesting. Like what they do is they kind of trick the PlayStation or the Xbox One into thinking the Xbox 360 is like its own game. So that's like an application that you're running.
Well, they're running
like,
a virtual machine, right? Like a VM of the Xbox 360 OS?
Kind of. Not? I mean, it's like its own app, kind of like within the Xbox One, which is ridiculous if you think about it, because they're basically fitting a system inside a system.
That's a virtual machine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I also read that, so it's going to be downloading that game. You put the disc in, and then it downloads that game to your system. And
yeah, they said you could play off the disc, didn't they? Or do you just put the disc in and you download it?
I think you put the disc in and you download it. I don't know.
That makes sense.
I think so.
And you'll probably have to have that disc in every time to validate it, right? Because if not, people will just... Yeah, I mean, everybody could just share each other's collection. I mean, that would be cool.
Yeah, I wonder how that would work.
If it downloads everything, the only problem I have with every game now requiring an install is to save money. Both Sony and Microsoft, the interface, the drive interface in the machines is only SATA 2. It didn't use SATA 3. You actually have a faster if you use an external hard drive on your Xbox 360 or your Xbox One. You have better data transfer speeds over USB than you do to the hard drive that's in the Xbox One.
And I also heard, so they're doing like a beta now. They're just a limited list of games that are on it right now. They're going to, I guess, expand the library over time. Right now it's just going to be like the most popular games.
Yeah.
I think somewhere I read there's 20 in the beta right now that people can try out.
They said all that the developer needs to do is like opt in, basically, and they can get their game on there.
There'll be 100 games when they launch it, is the plan. Yeah. At least 100.
That is really neat, though. That makes me kind of want to get a Xbox One.
They also said that right now it's going to be kind of an evolving thing as far as the tech, as far as it's supposedly the frame rate is a little bit shoddy right now, and it's something they're going to be improving over time. That's what I was reading. Yeah.
I had read somewhere that someone was using Mass Effect as an example, and that there were actually fewer frame rate drops in Mass Effect running on Xbox One.
That's something I just read today, that it was that they were having issues with certain games. So maybe Mass Effect is doing well on it, but maybe some other games are not. I don't know. But they said that that's something they were gonna fix over time, but they felt like it was doing well enough, obviously, to go into beta now and launch in the fall.
I know when they announced it, my first thought was, oh, awesome, I need to go out and buy a copy of Viva Pinata on 360.
And then you got the Rare Collection.
And then, and then a little bit later they announced the Rare Collection, which comes with Viva Pinata.
One and two, I think.
Have you seen GameStop now is giving their employees those pens that say, "Ask me about Battletoads"?
That's awesome.
God, are they really?
I saw that on the Twitter timeline several times. So it wasn't... Yeah, that Rare Collection looks neat.
Speaking more about Rare, that new Rare game looks pretty awesome. The pirate one?
Yeah, so is it going to be like an open world pirate like MMO?
It's kind of what it looks like.
I know Tyler's excited for it.
I'm excited for it.
Do we know how much you think there'll be you customize your ship? Like how the trailer looked neat. I'm just wondering what type of piratey stuff.
I don't know yet. I don't think any of us do, but I'm glad that Rare's doing it, like, as opposed to some other dev, because I don't feel like Rare would, like, fill it full of microtransactions.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It looks promising. I guess it's a 2016 game, right?
Yeah,
so we probably won't hear about it for a while, but
Rare Collection, though, comes out in September, I think.
Does it? Dang, that's quick.
September or October, I think.
I think it's the number one E3 announced game on Amazon right now.
Really? Not Fallout?
The Rare Collection?
yeah, that's surprising. I did read that. I read that on Reddit actually earlier today that it was the number one. Was it pre-ordered game on Amazon? But yeah, how there's no way that it could be outdoing Fallout.
Maybe they're not counting Fallout as an E3 announcement, even though it was.
That must be framed a certain way because there's no way.
If you go to Amazon's bestsellers page, so item 1 and 2 are PlayStation Store gift cards. So the first game is Batman, Arkham Knight. The next game is Splatoon, and then Fallout 4 Pip-Boy Edition.
It must be some top-selling game on a midnight of a Tuesday while full moon or something.
Yes.
But yeah, I did read that on Reddit just today. It might still be on. It was like Reddit Games. Something about it hitting something. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, I don't know. If you go to just Xbox One games on Amazon, the Rare Replay is number 26. But this is like peripherals too. The Xbox One stereo headset adapter is a better seller than the Rare Replay. But games that are better sellers are The Witcher, Destiny, Batman, Fallout. But of those games, all of them are out except Fallout.
Yeah. What else did we get? That was awesome. Oh, we got a car, like, raised in from the ceiling. That was cool.
Yeah. They're giving everyone a car.
Look under your seats.
I mean, I understand Forza sells a lot and stuff,
Yeah.
and I'm tired of seeing it every year at their conferences. I mean, I guess it has a market just like the Amiibo.
Yeah.
I mean, I like Amiibo, but I'm not like every time they make an announcement, I'm like super hyped about it. Unless it's like a Ness or Lucas Amiibo, then I admit I am pumped about it. But yeah, every time I see Forza,
the Robo Amiibo is freaking adorable. I'm getting the crap out of it.
But yeah, the Forza stuff. I mean, it's like car games always look really good. It's like best. They're always like the best looking thing. So nothing really. I don't think there's anything a car game could do to really impress me because graphically they're already to me like the best looking things out there, and I'm just not interested in
those real time cutscenes in the new Need for Speed.
Need for Speed is something I am excited for because Underground 2 was pretty awesome, and this game really looks like it's following that formula.
Those real-time cutscenes though are gonna be something, especially because they're not getting actors for them; they're getting like people that are like in that trade, so it's gonna be weird. Like they're getting mechanics and like stuff like that to do.
They did that. They've done that with the last few Need for Speeds, I believe.
The last few? I thought it was just like one they did it in. So.
I know they did it for the run.
It's a cool concept. I'm sure the game will be really good.
Microsoft also announced their new Gears game.
Yeah, that
and the remaster or remake, whatever.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that it looked really cool, and I did like that it was going more scary look. But the thing that was kind of weird, the dude and the chick, they didn't have the whole. Maybe there's a story reason for it, but they didn't have that really fake, superhuman-y type of look. They looked just kind of like
they're not all roided out.
Yeah, which is kind of I don't know. It was kind of the look of the Gears series.
Weird, yeah, because that was how it was in all Cliffy B's games, right? Like, have they moved away from that, maybe?
I mean, I don't know. Because, I guess people could say, like, well, they're trying to get more realistic, but, I mean, that game's kind of, not very many game characters really look like that, so it's not...
weird because in that universe, that isn't realistic, though. Like, you used to see all these other roided out guys.
And isn't it because they were part of some, like, super program to make these, like, perfect, war fighting...
soldiers?
Yeah.
And that's one thing. Maybe because Gears 1 through 3 were focused on soldiers, it didn't look like we were...
And Coltrane. Don't forget Coltrane.
Coltrane? I have no idea. I didn't actually play them.
Oh, man.
But the new one, I didn't get a feeling that we were dealing with this elite group of soldiers.
Yeah, maybe there is a story reason for it. Maybe. But everything else looked cool. I just thought it was kind of, I don't know, it was odd.
The Gears of War Ultimate Edition, the 1 through 3 re-release, is only going to be $40 on PC and Xbox One.
Dang, that's awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome. August 25th, that comes out.
Wait, is that the entire collection, or is that just I think that's just the first game, isn't it?
Is it? Oh.
I think it's just Gears
might
1,
only be the first game.
Yeah, I think I was reading about that, which is kind of weird, but for $40.
That's
$40 for... I mean, it's not terrible, but it's still weird considering... I would have thought
it's weird considering the PS4 is going to put all of the Uncharted games, like, in one collection.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say.
I want it.
Go ahead, JD.
I want it because I haven't played any of them besides the Vita one. So.
Oh, the Uncharted one, the Uncharted collection.
Yeah, that's so good.
Awesome. I played the first and second one. I've not played the third one, so I'm probably gonna get it.
So we didn't get any word on since Uncharted just came up. If we can go back real quick, we didn't get word on Uncharted Remastered, did we?
No.
During E3?
I don't think they really said a whole lot about it.
But there was a leak on PSN a week or two before E3, which confirmed it was on the European PlayStation Store. A listing went up for an Uncharted Remastered trilogy.
Oh,
so it's essentially confirmed, but we didn't get any word about it, right?
I thought it was confirmed for October.
Oh yeah, you can already like pre-order it and stuff.
Yeah, it's like it was announced everything. I guess Sony just you would have thought they'd at least like mentioned during the conference, but I guess their conference must have been so jam-packed.
They had a lot of stuff. They had a lot of stuff in there. They could have like did a little side note before they showed it or after they showed it. I guess they didn't decide to.
Yeah, if you go to unchartedthegame.com, it's got right up there. Maybe they did mention it. They might have mentioned it. I'll have to look back at the conference, but they might have mentioned it. But yeah, if you go to unchartedthegame.com, it's got the pre-order right there.
It's weird because if you Google Uncharted Trilogy PS4, if you try to Google it, it tells you to go to the Uncharted website. And then every other result is speculation about will they announce this? Are they working on this?
If you just Google Uncharted Collection, it like pulls up.
But yeah,
here's a link
they definitely are. I'm looking at the Uncharted website.
October 9th is the date.
Nice.
The end of this year is just destroying my wallet.
I know.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I'm
Every
probably
year.
not going to buy that Uncharted collection just because I already have them on PS3 and played them on PS3.
Yeah.
I don't have a need to rebuy this.
All right. Well, was there anything else big? I guess Microsoft. We got Halo 3, some Halo 3 footage, which was cool.
Halo 5.
Halo 5. What
Lost track.
game am I on? Halo 3? Oh my god.
There's 7. Was it
I'm thinking Uncharted 3 that I haven't played because I was just looking at it.
Yeah, Halo 5 looked cool.
Yeah.
I haven't really played. I mean, I'm just kind of going through each game. Yeah, the game looked cool, but I haven't really. I haven't played the story of any of the Halo since Halo 3, which I know there's only one since then. I hear
Was
4 story is really
ODST
good.
before 3 or after 3?
This is
3.
after 4.
This one's after 4? Wait, no, I said ODST was
Oh,
after
ODST
3,
is
right?
during 3.
Okay. Yeah, that's right.
Like before and during.
Well, that was the last one I played. Like 3 and then that one, whatever order they're in.
They just ODST. Everyone who bought the Master Chief Collection by a certain date got ODST for free on Xbox One.
That's cool.
0 remastering. Whew. I booted it up and I was like, man, it is amazing how well they
Nice.
captured Nathan Fillion's face with 3 polygons.
Did you see his new model? Oh my god, that's like Nathan Fillion incarnate right there.
From Halo 5?
Yeah, from 5. It looks pretty awesome.
An indie game that I thought looked, or I believe it's an indie game that I thought looked neat was the Cuphead.
Oh man, Cuphead!
Oh, that
We
looks
should
great.
already talk about how excited we are for Cuphead because that game looks amazing.
I like, obviously, what is that, 1920s or 30s art
Yeah,
style?
that animation style stuff.
That
So
old
good.
style.
Steamboat Willie. Yes!
Like,
Steam Boy Willie?
Steamboat Willie.
Yeah.
That's what I said.
The art style looks cool. The gameplay, though, opt to play. I mean, it looks like a platformer. Just it's kind of your standard platformer. But,
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks cool. If you're into platforming and kind of that unique, you want a unique look on it.
Yeah, I'm gonna play the crap out of it because it just looks so seamless. Like you can't really tell that you're playing a game or watching a cartoon. Like it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, speaking of, it reminds me of how South Park.
Yeah,
you don't know the
exactly.
difference.
I was just thinking about that.
And they announced the new South Park, which is
Yeah. What do they call it? The,
yes, the fractured
butthole.
butthole.
Such
So
a great title.
They're going from sci-fi, or not sci-fi. They're going from
fantasy
high
to
fantasy to superhero, right?
Yeah. Butters is the bad guy.
It looks so good, and they know they're so in touch with their fans and gamers. In last season of the show, Cartman had a spiel. Was it last season? It was might have been the season before. Cartman had a spiel about how pre-ordering games was stupid, and at the end of the trailer, Butters is like, "Pre-order it now," and Cartman's like, "Shut up, Butters!"
But dang it, what else was I going to say about that game? Oh, when Matt Stone and Trey Parker went on stage, like they were just classic, freaking hilarious.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Yeah. Another indie game that I'm super excited about and didn't know much about before this conference, and like everyone was like, "How did you not hear about that game?" Is Firewatch. Freaking super excited about that game.
I remember I don't know where I saw Firewatch at. It might have been at the December Spike thing, but yeah, it looked cool. So
yeah,
I don't know much about the
17. There's like a 17-minute like gameplay video up. It's pretty interesting, but it's like the entire game's like system based, which is cool. Like that you like find a boombox and you can like throw it in the river, and that could like affect like something. I don't know. It's really neat.
Oh, cool.
Recore. They showed Recore right after
they
Halo
showed-
5, right?
Did they? I thought Halo 5 was the last thing they showed.
No.
That was the
was
first
it-
thing they showed. What am I talking about? Gears was the last thing they showed.
I didn't know this, but apparently the developers of that, it's KG Inafune's team. I'm probably saying that wrong. And Armature Studio, which is made up of a whole bunch of Metroid Prime veterans.
Yep.
So that's awesome.
Yeah, I wish we could have seen some gameplay, but they're probably still early in developing it. Did they say 2016 for that game?
Yeah.
Cool. I guess you kind of got like the basis of what it's gonna be. Kind of like you use that thing to like reprogram your pet or whatever.
You turn all the red cores to blue.
Yeah, gotta recore them.
Yeah, someone actually, I read an interview where someone asked him if his ideas from, I'm going to butcher his name too, though, AG and a few, they asked him if any of his Mega Man Legend 3 ideas would go into that. And he actually left the door open saying like he'd still like to do Mega Man. He doesn't work for Capcom, so I don't know how that would be possible. Maybe they would contract him or something. But anyways, he said that essentially that this would be all new ideas, but naturally I think some of those ideas could creep in or something like that. But so I just thought that was an interesting tidbit.
Cool. And I like how devs do that. Like they use things that like they've worked on in the past to kind of influence what they're working on now. It's not necessarily like stealing from the game, but like you developed that game, so why not use stuff that worked in other games? Just tiny elements.
Yeah. Is there anything else from Microsoft? I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more, but
yeah.
I think we
Anything
can
else we want to
move
talk about?
on to the clear loser of the big three.
PC gaming.
that thing was hard to watch. I think I
It was just
napped
so
off
technical.
and on
Like I
through
loved
it.
Day 9, and I think he did a really good job. But just the show, like I don't know, it was kind of
way too long.
fest.
And it was
3.5 hours. Like,
too much shoving AMD in there. Hey, look at this! Look at this! Look at this! And you're not wowing me at all. Why didn't you
there
invite
was nothing
NVIDIA?
inside,
And
was there? Yeah.
No, it was very much an AMD conference.
Yeah.
So I guess we will move on to Nintendo, which I guess my favorite thing. Trying to think what my favorite thing. I'm really looking forward to the new Star Fox, just because the director of that game, it was the same director of Bayonetta 2, which everybody knows how I feel about Bayonetta 2. It's it was my favorite game of last year.
How do you feel, Britt? Oh, okay, you're telling us.
Yeah, that was my favorite game last year, I'd say.
Dang.
And I mean, it did really well. Well, I don't know about sales and stuff. I actually never really looked at that, but critically, it did really well. So it was the best reviewed game of last year of a game that wasn't a remake, like Grand Theft Auto 5 and what's the other game? Last of Us did review better, and then I think Smash did, but all the rest were like iOS games and stuff. So it was
the new Zelda last year, or was that 2 years ago?
Last year,
the new Zelda.
the Wii U one. Last
No,
year.
the
Wii U
3DS
Zelda.
one.
Oh, he's talking about like a game that actually came out.
Yeah.
Oh. A Link Between
That was-
Worlds.
Was it 2 years ago?
2 years ago, yeah.
it was. Okay.
Before last Zelda marathon.
Yeah. But anyways, the new Star Fox is share the same director, or at least the same. He's going to be leading. He was the director of Bayonetta 2, and we have to see a lot of it because of the way Nintendo does their Treehouse.
Yeah.
And I mean, it looks really cool.
Man. The thing I'm super excited about all the 3DS like support. Like they've got a solid 3DS lineup coming out. Like what's it called? Yokai Watch?
Yokai
awesome.
Watch it.
Yeah,
It's like a Pokemon hybrid type. You're collecting these creatures, and
it's been like around for like a long time, like in Japan. So
yeah,
it's based on like
made by
their
Level 5.
mythology. Yeah, made by Level 5. That game looks really neat.
Level 5 is awesome.
Yeah, I thought they were making another game too, like the miniature fighting robots game or whatever, but that might not be Level 5. That might be somebody else. But that game still looks cool. But Mario Maker looks freaking amazing.
That might have been the best thing they demoed, just because I mean, it worked really well at the competition that they had. Like I felt like they sold that. The competition alone kind of sold that game, and then I don't know. It just looks really cool. Apparently, originally they were thinking about, like, when the idea came up, they were trying to, I think, create a platform maker like internally to use like for their own development.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could see how if you were interested in making like a platforming game, you could essentially get Mario Maker, do kind of your own testing with your own levels there, and then.
Maybe they were like tired of people just complaining about a new Super Mario Brothers Wii U coming out each year, so they're like, screw it, you can make your own freaking game each year.
Can they make a new Mario game anymore now? Because you could essentially
it's weird. I don't know, unless they change the system again.
That's why I'm excited for Mario Maker, because I'm hoping that it kills the new Super Mario Brothers games.
Well, like. You could just
make the game in that game.
Yeah,
exactly.
They're going to have people, they're going to have people just dedicating their time for remaking each level. You can share them with your friends and stuff like that, which is super cool. So people will have like packs like, hey, these are the new Super Mario Brothers 1 levels. These are the Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah.
I think that's so awesome.
It was saying, I don't know if it was you, JD, but someone was talking about they wanted to know if they can make like worlds inside the game, which would be awesome. Like you can make your own you can make your own Super Mario Brothers world.
That would be super awesome.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
If anything, if it's just like a folder system or something.
I hope at least a folder system. I doubt a world. I mean, if they did that would be huge. Just because like then you could really capture the games. But if you did a folder system, that would be cool, because then you could have a way of organizing the levels from each game. I mean, most people are going to create their own stuff, but
yeah. I was listening to. Oh, go ahead, man.
Oh no, I was just going to say the release date September 11th. I was really hoping it was going to make it by the time our marathon.
Oh yeah. Dang it.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I think it was a Giant Bomb podcast or maybe one of their live streams last week where they were talking about maybe this would like get interest in like a Zelda dungeon maker or like a Metroid game maker. Like this could like branch off into its own series, kind of like, or you could just make levels for like your favorite Nintendo games.
Yeah, that would be. I would really love a Zelda one. That would be so cool.
Like if it was just even Zelda 1, like just make your own dungeon, that would be freaking awesome.
Yeah, I think it would have to be definitely, the top-down ones, the 3D one, that would be...
Yeah.
But the top-down Zelda series, that would be so cool.
They would be able to do Zelda 1, Link to the Past, and Link Between Worlds.
Exactly. Yeah, that's how you could switch and just do all the top-down ones. That would be so cool.
Link's Awakening and then the 2 Seasons games. So you'd have a big collection of palettes and looks and stuff.
Yeah, 4 of those. Oh, Finish Cap.
You obviously wouldn't be able to make like a OOT like dungeon or something like that. That would be ridiculous.
Yeah. Fire Emblem. It's so surprising for Nintendo for years. Kind of, at least over here in the West, they didn't. Fire Emblem. We really didn't get to see too much about it, but now that they're really like banking on Fire Emblem.
They released Awakening, and everyone was like, "This game is amazing," and now they're coming out with like all of them.
It's funny that it has the title Awakening, because it's like that was the awakening for us.
Our awakening to Fire Emblem.
And now we're getting I still don't know for sure. I haven't done too much research. I know in Japan theirs is going to be split into 2 different copies, and I assume that's ours is going to be 2.
It is. It's going to be. It's kind of cool how they're doing it actually. Like one copy. Okay, apparently he plays like this prince who was like, I guess, born into this family. You thought he was born into this family. I'm not going to get too technical into it, but like you find out that you're not actually like related to the king. So you can either go to like one game, you go and fight with like your actual family, who's kind of like the rebels trying to like change the kingdom, and in the other game, you stay with your like king, like adopted family, and like try to change the kingdom from within.
That's really cool. And the stories are going to be completely different on each side, so it's not.
Yeah.
It's not it's not like a Pokemon Red and Blue where it's just different Pokemon. It's different stories. You know.
Yeah, you're interacting with different characters and all of that.
Yeah, and then right after that, they announced the Fire Emblem Persona like crossover.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that game exactly.
I want to play the Persona series. I want to get a PlayStation TV just so I can play, because I want to get a Vita, but the TV's so cheap. It's like it keeps going on sale for like $40-$50 over here.
Yeah.
40. I bought one recently. I only had to pay $15 because I had a $25 Best Buy gift card.
Yeah, see, so I want to get one just to play Persona. So I'm really interested in Persona series because everybody says it's so great. So now it's going to be a Fire Emblem Persona crossover, and it looked really weird, but I mean, I'm glad now that we're getting some of those games that probably would never have a chance to come out here. Usually those crossovers titles don't ever come over here. You know, Phoenix Wright and the Professor Layton crossover did eventually get here, right?
Pretty sure, yeah.
I have no idea.
Usually in the past, those type of things don't happen, but it's happening. Of course, we didn't bring up the Zelda. What's it
TV
called?
show?
Yeah, it's a TV show. Yeah.
No, the Zelda. What is it? The Triforce Warriors, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
The game looks
Triforce
neat.
Heroes.
So it's. I'm guessing 3 players if if they're going for the. Or is it 4 player?
No, it's 3.
3 player? Okay. I mean, it would make sense, Triforce.
They said they like experimented with 3 for like the totem effects, but they said like 3 was they experimented with 4, but 3 like worked better.
Yeah.
I really like 4 Swords, so this I imagine is also going to be fun. I mean, it's just solving puzzles with your friends and stuff.
I liked 4 Swords too, but like 4 Swords like seemed like there was like a ton of griefing, and it seems like you can't really do that as much in this game because you share like a health meter.
You can, but yeah, you end up just hurting yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
And the cool thing with this one is it's gonna have online play as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had to get the online play. For it to be, successful, but really glad they did it.
And you have those different like costumes or whatever too to like add a gameplay value.
Yeah, instead of just being a different color Link, now you can customize yourself, which is really cool. And then there was another Zelda announcement which got leaked. It would have been more exciting had we not known beforehand. But Hyrule Warriors is going to be making its way to the 3DS. And I really want to. I still have yet to play the Hyrule. Everybody recommends me. I need to play Hyrule Warriors. I have not done it yet. Now I think I might actually hold off until we get the 3DS one, just because I've held off for this long. It looks really cool. I mean, it interests me. I do like beat 'em ups and things like that. So it'll probably be something that's right up my alley. I was really surprised though. It's not a new 3DS exclusive. Like as good as it graphically looks, I was really surprised that it's actually going to be compatible with the regular 3DS as well.
Yeah, I was glad to hear that because I don't have a new 3DS and don't know if I'm going to get one at this point.
Man.
Oh, the new yeah, you're being really quiet over there, Baltes.
I'm just waiting for you guys to get done.
The new Metroid game. Like I know a lot of people talk crap about it, but it looks like it could be fun.
Yeah, I just whenever-
Reggie did an interview with Kotaku, and they brought up the, what do you call it?
Federation Force.
No, well, yeah, they brought up the petition against the game and stuff,
Oh.
and Reggie was very specifically said, "We know that people want a new Samus game.
Yeah.
Trust me, we know." So
Yeah, and it's
know.
kind of annoying that people think that this is gonna like take the place of another Metroid game. Like that's not what it's designed to do.
I think at this point the fear is that we won't see one on Wii U, and I
don't think we will.
I don't think we will
we're not
either.
going to.
Even
I hope that they have one ready for the launch of NX.
I hope that's what they're working on. Yeah.
They need something solid when that launches, because I feel like it's one of the many things that screwed them on the Wii U.
Yeah.
They even talked about that. I don't know if it was Reggie or Iwata or Miyamoto, but I'm pretty sure that they talked about that, the launch lineups.
Yeah.
Yeah, Reggie's brought up a couple times that he feels like, well, he always, every time he does an interview, he always says this. He does the same software moves hardware, which is the truth, and he always cites that as being what was wrong with both the 3DS, which the 3DS now obviously is doing amazing, but it took a while, and then the Wii U. Wii U did do a lot better this year, though, which...
Oh, it was Reggie, because he was doing that same exact spiel, except it was how he was happy with the Wii U because of the last couple of years, the 2013 leading into 2014, and then 2014 through 15.
The Wii U is outselling the PS4 in Japan right now.
It's definitely
outselling Xbox One. 100 Xbox Ones sold last week. Good grief.
100 last
100 across
oh
Japan.
My God.
And probably all of
crazy.
them, most of those are probably foreigners living in Japan.
Yeah.
That's what they were saying, like people on base or something, because 100, that's kind of hard to believe.
Jeez, I guess that's crazy.
Yeah. But
the cheeky Robo game looks freaking fun. What platformer? 3DS.
It's got a cool looking amiibo too.
Oh yeah, amiibo looks awesome.
The thing I thought, speaking of amiibo, they showed off the new two of the new Animal Crossing games. I thought the Animal Crossing Homemaker thing was going to be a free to play game.
I thought that too.
Really? I didn't think so.
Well, it is going to be full price. That now the
party
Mario
game,
Party game is going to be free to play, right?
It's free to play, but it requires four
amiibos.
Well, one per player. So if you have three players,
that video. Okay, Sony did this last year, and Nintendo did it this year. They have to be more self-aware when you debuting a new. If you're going to do a spin-off, you need to make sure that the first thing that they're showing makes it so it's a spin-off. Like when Sony did the guy went up there, I can't remember the developer's name, he went up there and he was like, fans have been wanting this for a while, and then the Square Enix thing pops up and everybody's like, oh my god, and then it turned out just to be a port of Final Fantasy. This was last year.
Yeah.
People were so pissed. Well, Nintendo did that this year. I mean, obviously the botch isn't as big because it's not Final Fantasy VII, but it was Animal Crossing. When the Wii U, you could tell it was a Wii U sprite, walks on the screen, you're thinking, it's new Wii U Animal Crossing, but then it turns out to be a freaking spin-off board game. That really doesn't it's not a good start for that game, because it's like already a disappointment. Like,
and I don't even know if E3 is the best place to announce a game like that. Like, it's bad to say, but like I feel like that game would get better press if not as much was expected of it.
Yeah, it needs to be like just something mentioned in a direct or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was watching it on the Treehouse, and it looks really fun.
Yeah, it looks fun. I just wish, like, if you're going to open up with it, I think instead of having, I forgot which character it was, walk out, they should have immediately, like, panned out it be a board game there. And so you don't have the expectation of this is a new Animal Crossing game. You have the, oh, what is this Animal Crossing board game? I don't know. It just had me, for the first 15 seconds, I was like, oh, this is the new Animal Crossing Wii U game. No, it's a freaking spin-off board game.
Yeah.
It does look fun, but there was something, there was another, the big thing we have to mention is Earthbound Beginnings, which is actually right now #1 seller on their charts, and I think #2 in Japan. It just beat out Splatoon, which Splatoon has apparently already sold over 1 million copies, which I gotta be honest, like, when I saw it last year, I was like, it looks neat. Now, the more that's been out and the amount of hype it's been keeping, I really do want to kind of play it, and it sold 1 million copies really quickly, so good for Nintendo, I guess. Now people always want them to put out new franchises and stuff. This will probably make them. Their fans spoke with their wallet, so now Nintendo might be willing to make more franchises. Maybe get more than a new franchise a year from them seeing the results. But back to Earthbound Beginnings. Earthbound's on the Virtual Console now. We got Earthbound, or Mother 1 and Mother 2.
Yeah.
Still no Mother 3. Reggie, they talked about that in the Kotaku interview with Reggie too.
It sounds like, yeah, I read that. I watched, I think it was a GameSpot, GameSpot guy interviewed him. It was a video. It was like 10 minutes longer or something. Maybe it was longer. No, it might have been like 17 minutes long. I can't remember, but it sounds to me, at least this is what I got from, because they asked him, because they said that they teased Mother 3 last year, and he just said, trust me, I'm aware that Mother fans want Mother 3, so I think it's just a matter of time before we get Mother 3. That's what I took from it.
I think we'll get it.
Yep.
And
they said that he was. They said obviously sales for Earthbound were impressive enough for them to want to bring the first one over here. So I think we'll get 3.
Could just get starbound.net to do the translation.
Starbound.net?
Oh, Starman. Where is he Starbound?
You played too much Starbound, man.
I did.
There's a new trailer out for the Terraria 1.3 update. Just throwing that out there for you guys. Random.
I saw that trailer. 12 million copies of that game have been sold. Well, that's crazy to think about.
I'm glad that they're still updating that game, but I want Starbound to be more like Terraria. I don't think it's gonna happen.
That's all I can think about from Nintendo. Baltes, did you want to give
your
big
input ones? Give mine. Nintendo for me was very disappointing. It was only disappointing because yes, they have a huge their 3DS lineup is beyond solid, which is awesome. Their Wii U lineup, though, Nintendo doesn't need to push 3DS right now. It's already solid. They are selling those things like crazy. Wii U is a completely different story. Wii U is what they need a solid lineup for, and they went as far as to mention the NX, which, if they're mentioning NX this year and saying they'll talk about it next year, then it almost seems like a safe assumption that we will see an NX release in 2017. So
I think maybe, I think we'll get it announced maybe next year at E3, but I think 2017, maybe late 2017, holiday.
I hope we don't see it till 2017. Now, the Wii U was unveiled and announced and released within the same year. They unveiled it around E3, and then it was out in November. So I'm hoping we don't see that with the NX. I'm hoping... What, JD?
I bet we hear more about it at the end of the fiscal year, is what I'm thinking.
And then they'll fully unveil it at E3, you think, next year? I'm hoping that it doesn't release next year. If they release in 2017, it'll only be 1 year sooner than the Wii U cycle will only be 1 year less than the Wii cycle was.
Yeah. And as far as focusing on the 3DS like titles, that's where their install base is. So I think it was pretty smart, like on their end. But I can see what you're saying about like not trying to push Wii U units, because I'm right there on the edge of getting like a Wii U. And
Exactly.
Mario Maker like almost got me on that, almost tipped me over. Like Mario Maker looks so cool and I want to play it, but I don't want to buy a Wii U and just play it for like a year and a half, and then the new system come out. Like I'm just right there, so close.
There was
Especially if it
something
has
that you
backwards
said.
compatibility.
Yeah.
There was something
Exactly.
you said, Rob, when we were talking before about you had said that Nintendo doesn't really need to compete. And I do get what you're saying, but if you look at the Wii U, the Wii U has done well among Nintendo fans. But when you look at Nintendo's investors, they're not looking to only cater to Nintendo's fans. The Wii did really great because Grandma bought one, Mom bought one, everybody bought a darn Wii.
It was more like, I don't want to say it was more like positioned to the casual like gamers, because I hate like the casual gamer title, but like it kind of like it fit more audiences than just like the person that's already gonna buy that system.
The Wii.
Yeah,
the Wii. And it was a reasonably priced system too.
And I really wish that they would just do a like price drop on the Wii U. I think that would help a lot. It helped a ton with the 3DS, but with that tech, I don't know if they can like afford to do that, which kind of sucks.
I think if I were to make personal predictions, it's probably too early to make predictions about NX, but if I made predictions or said what I think would be smart, we would see a backwards compatible system, but one that does not include the gamepad, so it's optional. If you want to play Wii U games, you can furnish your own gamepad. And I think it would be smart if they make something much more powerful.
My only issue with that is you gotta have the tech in there that's gonna like be responsive with the gamepad, and I don't know like how much more that's gonna drive up production of the system. So I don't know. There's just so many things you have to take into account.
I think, imagine how much better just one game, how much better of a year we'd be thinking of Wii U. Like, so we got Mario Maker.
Zelda was coming out this year.
We would have Mario Maker, which I think it's got a lot of positive vibe around that. Star Fox, I think generally people think it looks pretty cool. And then we'd have Zelda. We'd have Zelda, Star Fox, and Mario, and Yoshi, all in 1 year. But now, because of the delay, which I mean, I don't blame Nintendo, because you don't want to. If they feel like they need more time, that's what they should do.
I'm okay with them taking their time to make sure that it works. And we haven't got a super buggy Zelda game yet, so take your time. There was that one issue with. Oh yeah, we'll still have to talk about Batman in a moment.
I expect this to be the buggiest of the Zeldas, just because of the. I mean, and I'm
the
not
open world concept.
Yeah, because of it being open world, I expect that.
Bugged AI all over the place. It's gonna be Skyrim the Fallout New Vegas. It'll be Bethesda's Zelda game.
Yeah, Nintendo did say that they had a lot of awesome footage that they could have shown as Zelda, but
I think that would have been smart. I wish they would have like shown something, like get people excited about it, even if it's coming out in 2016.
Yeah, which scares me, because they said like, we had a lot of awesome stuff, but we really wanted this E3 to be about stuff that was coming out soon. Yeah. But then again, they did show stuff that was 2016, so it makes me think, when in 2016 are we getting this? Like holiday? I mean, that's.
Oh God, I hope not.
I mean, I would be fine with that. It's just.
Don't they usually do holiday releases with Zelda?
Like with you guys, it's different though to say like I would be fine with that, because you guys already have a Wii U. Like if it's gonna come out in 2016 like holiday, I'm probably not gonna play that game. Like maybe ever if the new system isn't backwards compatible.
Majora's Mask released in April of 2007. Other than that, Wind Waker was December, Twilight Princess was December, Skyward Sword was November, A Link Between Worlds was November, A Link to the Past was November. They love their fall and winter releases.
Yeah. When I was saying that I didn't think that the Wii U had to compete or Nintendo had to compete, it's just I think that they're so different that like they kind of can't compete, and like Wii or PlayStation and Xbox, like they can't compete with Nintendo either. Like it's just so weird that the spot that they're in. But
now imagine
I mean,
imagine if the Nintendo system had the power that all the third-party devs for. Imagine if you had all of that first-party support and wonderful Nintendo magic, and then everybody else wanted to make games on it, and you also had your Call of Duties on it.
Yeah, but they haven't had that. They haven't had that kind of third-party support since
the N64, pretty much.
Yeah.
Although, you know what? I knew people that played the crap out of Call of Duty World at War on Wii, and let me tell you what, I don't know how, because the controls were horrible. Like, they're playing online matches on the Wii, and it was so terrible.
Well, the Wii had some cool, like, third-party, like, stuff like Mad World and, like, Raven Rabbids, like stuff like that you can only kind of like do on that system.
The Wii U started out strong. You had Black Ops 2, and Robbie and I had Black Ops 2 and played the crap out of it. Zombie U was a great game. That was Ubisoft made that.
Strong, but it had strong third-party support is what you mean, right?
You had Assassin's Creed 4 released.
Yeah,
wait,
Black
was it
Flag
4?
was on there, wasn't it?
Wait,
or was it 3? Was it 3?
3.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you had Assassin's Creed 3 released on it, so they were capable of these things. There was a port of Arkham City for Wii U.
It didn't run well.
It didn't? Oh. A coworker of mine was just telling me that he preferred it on Wii U because the gamepad functionality was awesome.
Like at this point, like for Nintendo, I either want them to go like fully support like third party, like you're saying, like make a system that people want to develop for, or just make it a Nintendo game machine, and I will just play my Nintendo games on it, and I will be happy with that.
Full backwards compatibility with the entire library of Nintendo games.
I would be cool with that.
Plug my NES cartridges in.
Yes.
Okay, maybe not that far, but I think their investors want to see something that other devs are willing to program for. And I mean, you figure we're still kind of in a recession. People are still, a lot of families still have to choose between systems.
Yeah.
And when all of your kids' friends have
that makes sense.
An Xbox, the kid's going to want to play those games. So people don't necessarily have the ability to buy multiple systems. So you need to really sell
and I think
people.
That's part my fault is I don't really. It's hard for me to look at it that way because I don't really have like a family to like support. But I definitely see what you're saying.
Oh, I don't either. My dogs aren't playing any video games. But I remember growing up. We never had more than one system. I mean, all we had were Nintendo systems. We skipped the Super Nintendo and went to the Nintendo 64.
Yeah, I remember getting the 64. That was the greatest holiday ever.
I bought a PlayStation 1 off of a kid at school during my senior year of high school. 2003, I finally got a PlayStation 1. The PS2 was already out, for crying out loud.
I still don't have a PS2.
Oh my goodness, JD.
PS2 was a good system.
It was a fantastic system.
So I mean, is there anything else I want to speak about on Nintendo before we wrap it up with what we're playing right now?
There was a couple things that I wanted
to forever.
There's a couple games that we didn't talk about that I missed. Which were the BioWare games, Mass Effect.
How did we miss Mass Effect?
I think we just skipped EA like
Oh,
altogether.
yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
We can run
can't
through
fault us
EA
for that.
and Ubisoft real quick.
But yeah, I was super damn excited
And
about
Fallout 4.
anything about Mass Effect.
I think we talked about Fallout a lot last time, didn't we?
No, I don't think we really. Oh,
That was
we
our
didn't
prediction
have
one.
like the announcement. Yeah.
Oh.
TLDR, we loved it.
Yeah, we could talk. We've gone an hour and a half already. We could talk another hour about Fallout 4. We are super excited about it.
Me and Ashley, got to give Ashley her credit, called it being out this year. I think
Right.
a few other people did too.
I called November, so they got me there
nice.
with. Wait, no, I called October. Sorry,
you called October. Okay.
Yeah, it's coming out in November. I don't know what I'm gonna do, guys. That game's gonna come out. Bree's gonna be in Disney.
Oh man,
she's gonna come home. The house is gonna be a wreck.
That whole crafting system, I think took everyone by surprise.
I agree with Tyler said he's curious about what the incentive is for that, and I'm with him on that. I'm very curious to learn what the incentive, the in-game drive behind the crafting is.
Has to be an incentive for that. I think it's just kind of like a side thing. You can
there doesn't have to be, but I'm very curious to find out if there is one.
Maybe it's just looting the raiders that come up to your base. Maybe they have good stuff or something. Because they said that they're gonna attack your base.
No, it's gonna be like single player Rust.
Yes.
Tunnel snakes rule.
Oh man, Rust.
That Mass Effect though.
Yeah.
I wish we just saw gameplay, but
they're making it with the Frostbite engine, so that's promising.
So that's what Battlefront 3 is running on, right? Cool.
And the Battlefield games run on that too. BioWare allegedly is making a Star Wars game also using that engine. Allegedly.
1313?
Maybe?
I thought 1313 was Battlefield.
Canceled?
No,
I thought it was another
1313
game.
was that one bounty hunter game that they talked about. Last year at E3 that got canceled.
Yeah, it got canceled.
Yeah, it looked awesome what they showed, so that was disappointing, but oh well.
Speaking of Star Wars, the Old Republic.
Oh, yeah.
So what is it called? Fallen Empire, more story-driven expansion to the Old Republic.
That cinematic trailer looked awesome, and I think if they're going to do an expansion, it should definitely be really focused on story, because that's what that was my favorite part of when I played Old Republic.
Yeah, I mean they of all the press releases and stuff, they're really hammering home the fact that it's going to be kind of a single player. If you want to do a single player experience,
well, it's. I guess you just have to buy the expansion because you don't pay a sub anymore. So.
No, you do.
You do? I thought it was free to play now.
It is.
JD pays a sub.
You can still pay for a sub. It does have its benefits. And for the people that are currently subbed to the game, all throughout the summer, they're going to have stuff that only subs get. And then when the expansion comes out, the expansion is free for subs.
That's cool. That's weird to me, though, subbing to a game that's I mostly play for the story. I guess other people play it for, dungeons and stuff like that, but...
Yeah.
I play it for the story myself, but, yeah. It does... I tried playing it without the subscription, and while it was still the same game, it did have some restrictions.
Yeah,
I just felt like being subbed was the best option.
How much is it to sub to that game?
15.
Jeez, just make it... I feel like it should be 10.
Yeah, I hope they come down with their subscription-only type stuff. I think it would help them a lot, but I enjoyed what I played, but I'll probably come back for the expansion, at least to go through the story. I mean, it'll be free to go through the story part, so...
Yeah.
Do you want to talk any about Heavenly Sword, Baltes?
Heaven's Word?
Heaven's Word.
Heavenly Sword wasn't interesting.
Yeah, I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, Heavenly Sword. Crap, I don't know what that is.
It's a PS3 launch
title. Speaking of swords, what was that game Ubisoft had, which looked like the Chivalry knockoff? Was that Ubisoft?
For Honor.
For Honor.
I don't know about that game.
It looks like Chivalry. I'll just play Chivalry.
Yeah, it does look like Chivalry.
Heaven's Word, yeah, the new Final Fantasy XIV expansion is awesome.
Cool.
They added 10 more levels. They added a lot of new areas, and the areas are massive compared to the areas that were in the game before. These areas are just huge. There's a new client, DirectX 11 client, which runs 1,000,000 times better than it did on the DirectX 9 client. It looks better. It's performing a lot better. 3 new classes that they added. $40.
It's not too bad. Do you get a month free with it or anything, or no?
That's a good darn question. I have no idea.
Usually
probably
don't. I don't think
not.
WoW doesn't do that. So.
Probably not. Yeah, they added 3 new jobs, a new race, flying mounts, raised level cap, new raids, new dungeons, new areas. So much new junk. It's ridiculous.
Cool. It sounds like if you're going to release an expansion, then that's the way to do it.
They did well. Early access started Friday, and the expansion officially launched today.
Cool.
I'd say the early access was kind of rocky just because of overloaded servers. They had extra servers on hand, but they didn't put them into effect until today. So now today there's no login issues. But all weekend it was kind of Batman launched today. We could finally get to Batman.
How are you enjoying your Batman experience so far, Baltes?
I would say the game looks like it's going to be great once they patch a few issues with the PC version, because I got it on PC.
Wait, it's having some issues on PC?
Yes, it is. Wait, are we doing a skit? I don't know my lines. Yeah, I feel bad for Rocksteady because there's
me too.
Huge push against them right now.
It's partially their fault, but they're under so much pressure to get the game out. But then again, finish the freaking game before you release it. I don't know.
Well, they locked it at 30 frames per second, but it's not. For some reason, the game in certain sequences it switches to 60 frames per second, and it swaps back and forth. You can unlock the frame rate, or raise the limit through INI file tweaks. Some people who have done that, their game starts crashing, and when they revalidate files, it deletes the entire game and re-downloads the whole thing, which is 30 gigabytes. So that's an issue. There is a huge, huge problem with frame rate drops. I went back and I tried it with SLI turned off, and I have an i7 and a GTX 980, so the game is running great at 60 frames per second, and then all of a sudden, for no apparent reason, the game will kind of pause. Batman's arm is stuck in the air, and I'm waiting 1 or 2 seconds for everything to start moving again. The Batmobile sequences are awesome, but there is a lot more frame rate. There's a lot more lagging when you're in the Batmobile. And a 30 frame rate lock, a 30 FPS lock isn't a big deal to me unless, depending on the type of game. And I can especially, in a game where you're driving, like in GTA 5, I could see a big difference between 30 and 60 frames per second when driving at high speeds down the highway. So the same goes for Batman, when you're in the Batmobile and the world is flying by you, it's very noticeable whether you're at 30 frames compared to 60. So it's disappointing that they didn't have that as an option. It's an easy fix, but whether you fix it or not, there is something going on there which causes the game to stutter a lot.
I'm excited to play it. Like, I love all of the Arkham games. I know Britt does too, so...
Yeah. The story so far seems very interesting. I'm excited to play more of it.
It's one of those games, though, that, like, you can kind of, like, take your time. Like you don't have to get it. It's not one of those games that's, like, at least for me, like, not much.
Not much. We'll have to go back.
Hey, guys, we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
I don't think we talked about much last 8 minutes.
Yeah.
We just do our goodbye.
I think we talked about Destiny, and then Baltes was talking about the Twitter stuff, and then SoundCloud.
Yeah.
So.
They probably missed Rob's Witcher. Rob really loves The Witcher. Britt really loves Kingdom Hearts. I think that Batman will be great, and Final Fantasy is great. And that's probably the last 8 minutes that everyone missed.
Yeah, that's basically it. That's a
TLDR.
Yeah, TLDR. Cool. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this podcast.
Sorry,
E3 was awesome. No, it's fine.
It's fine. It was a long podcast anyway.
Yeah. All right. Well,
all right.
see ya.
Good night, Wisconsin.